And we are back!
Oh my god.
I told you it was going to be loud.
Welcome to a very loud review, apparently.
Of Wine of Thrones. It is the season finale. We're a little bit late. Just a few. You know, we've had wine a few times this week trying to get this recorded. And
sometimes life happens, guys. But I have a shirt! I have a Game of Thrones shirt now. I don't know if you can see it, but it's I drink and I know things. So you can stare at my boobs and how it says I drink. The whole video.
And so I think that's the best status quo we can start for our recap and review of the season finale. Oh my gosh, this was crazy.
So crazy, and I'm very sad that we have to wait probably like the upwards of 2 years for the next
I know. That's the hard part, but it was worth.
You know what is worse? Is we are currently recording this during the time that Game of Thrones would be on. It is like 8 p.m. on a Sunday night.
I know, I'm ready to go watch the next episode.
But instead, we're here with you. Well, you'll be with us later, but we're here with you now.
We're all here right now. All right, let's get into it.
So we start this episode off with them in King's Landing at the Dragon Pit, which we have been anxiously awaiting. And we've got Cersei and crew already there, and we're just waiting for Daenerys because you know she's going to show up epically late.
They're all, where is she? And you know you're like, oh, she gonna do it.
Which I was actually surprised by. I thought that after, you know, other dragon death, that she was going to be like, I ain't riding my dragons anywhere. I'm going to dock them, and they're going to stay at home.
I think the most surprising thing is she brought 2. I thought she would have just brought Drogon because it's more hidden, whereas as soon as 2, and Cersei does pick up on it later, where it's like, she has 3, but why would she only bring 2?
Oh,
but
did she pick up on that?
Yeah, she said that later, whereas if she had only brought 1, Cersei would have never picked up on it and just been like, oh, 1 dragon's enough, I guess.
So we have this epic entrance by Daenerys, as always, queen. And then we have them bring up the white. But hold on, before we get into that, my favorite, like, non-epic moment of this episode was Brienne and the Hound and their adorable, like, divorced parent conversation about Arya. I'm in love.
Oh, like, where's Arya, like, well, anyone who gets in her way should be worried.
Our
and
girl
just
is fine, like...
just Hound a little smile, like, good.
So good.
After they fought to the death, it's so cute to see them, like, bonding over Arya.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so they bring out the white, and it was a very stressful moment. Because at first, like, it wasn't making any noise in the box, and I was like, oh, it died.
Oh god, someone, like, did something to it, it's gone.
Or, like, for some reason it can't survive out of the, like, cold, I don't know. And I was like, what's gonna happen? And then, of course, they tip the box over, and it's there.
Which... What happened a second before, though, I was really excited for the Hound to run into the mountain again.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't as excited about that as most other people in the world were. I was just like, eh.
I've been hyped for Clegane Bowl since the beginning. And he walks up and he goes, you know who's coming for you. And just walks off. I was like, that's not what I expected to happen.
I liked his little, like, you're uglier than me comment. I thought that was funny.
They teased it at least for next season.
That's
so
true.
They basically were like, we will deliver this eventually. So originally, I really thought that Jon's plan to deliver a white to King's Landing was really stupid.
We both thought that. If you watch some of our
other
videos.
She's just gonna laugh and be like, I have an undead guy behind me, who cares? Which I guess that kind of confirms to this point that the mountain's not really dead.
We don't really know what he is.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird in-between. However, she actually reacted pretty strongly to this.
She was super freaked out about that, which I was surprised by. And then her, like, what is he her hand? What is the dude who, like, brought the mountain back or what? Anyways, one guy who's next to her, and he's all, like, excited about it. Like, his little scientific boner's going off. Like, yes!
Oh, man. But it actually worked, and she was like... Wow, you know, we actually will help out. And I actually felt like that one was sincere when she was like, we will pull our armies back.
Yeah, but I was sitting there like, I don't know. And then sure enough, she goes back and talks to Jamie. She's like, I'm not doing that. Are you crazy? And...
Which, we won't get to that because that seems crazy. But, and then she has to drop in, oh, but Jon basically has to pull back his armies and swear fealty to me.
And just Jon swooping in with all the swoony moments this season. Just, so good. And he's just like, I have sworn myself to my queen and I cannot go back from that.
My heart already belongs to my aunt.
So cute. I don't care. It's cute. And I just love that both Daenerys and, I don't know, one of the other people were both like, that was stupid. Cute, but stupid.
Yeah, like, we appreciate you doing that, except
But
it
you
was
should've
really
done that.
dumb and you totally should have lied.
And he's like, I'm honest, I have to do this. And I relate to that a lot because I'm totally the type of person where, like, what you see is what you get, and I'm not gonna bullshit to you. So I'm just like, if I say this thing, I say this thing. I don't care if it's strategically important to not say that thing. It's the truth. And so
Whereas
I'm like, John, yeah.
I'm the Tyrion side where I'm like, why you not lie?
Yeah.
So after Jon professes his understated love for Daenerys,
Fealty.
and fealty, everyone knows. Cersei is kind of like, well, fine then, I'm not doing any of that, and she walks off. And Tyrion gets pretty ballsy, and he goes, I'm gonna go after her and talk to her alone.
And Daenerys is like, you're gonna die if you do this.
And he's like, maybe.
I'll try.
And so they go have a chat, and I think Cersei played him so hard.
I am so still on the train of she's not pregnant. Now, during this whole exchange with Tyrion, I thought she might genuinely be because she was selling it really well. And then some other stuff happened later. I'm like...
Yeah, because she does this little tummy touch, and like, I'm so worried just for things more important, like our family.
Well, and the reason I thought that she was genuine about it was because she doesn't tell Tyrion, and she's not like super overly obvious about it because she doesn't do the tummy touching thing till like I think he figures it out.
Yeah, right before he figures it out.
Yeah, he figures it out on his own based on the way she's talking about family and stuff. And so I just thought that was interesting. So I'm like, oh, well, maybe since she wasn't shoving it in his face, maybe it's actually true. I don't know.
I doubted that too, but by the end of it, I was like, she had to just be playing him. And he falls for it, where he goes, oh, she will join because I convinced her because the good of her heart. And we know at this point, Cersei has no good in her heart. She does not give a shit. She does not care about anyone, anything but that throne. She will do anything she has to. And there's no way she would actually have an honest conversation with Tyrion because she's shown that she has no respect for that guy.
But she does come out of that conversation and comes back and is like, I changed my mind. I got this.
Which I was actually super surprised and hopeful. I hope that you will remember what we did when we chose to fight beside you. It's like, wow, that's actually a really smart decision, Cersei. You won't keep the throne, but you won't get killed. She'll probably let you live and do your thing, and probably keep a lot of your power.
And so then I think the next thing that happened, whether it was next or not, it still happened. We're back at Winterfell, and we've got the whole Sansa and Arya thing going on, which I am so over at this point. Like, I'm watching this and I'm like, the writers, I hate them. I hate what they're doing. Stop pitting sister against sister. This does not go along with their characters. I'm so pissed.
And there was a conversation where Littlefinger was talking to Arya, and Littlefinger goes, I like to play a game where I do this thing where I imagine the worst thing and I was like, I'm waiting for him to Mission Impossible and I'm Arya and kill Sansa. I was waiting for it the whole time. It didn't happen. It was actually Littlefinger being like, I imagine the worst thing they could.
Yeah, so this ended so epically. Like, I was screaming at our TV, like, just, yes! I was so happy about this. And so it turns out Sansa is sitting there. She's at the head of her table as the Lady of Winterfell, and Arya's standing in front of her being accused. She's like, you are accused of murder and treason and whatever else. Which,
I thought for a second that Arya was about to fight all 50 of those guys back there. I thought she was just going to be like, bring it on, and just fling, fling, fling.
I was going to be so mad. I'm like, you have done all of this to our baby girl Arya, and this is how it's going to end. Are you freaking kidding me?
I thought she was going to kill them all and walk away. That's what I thought.
And I'm just like sitting there like, what you doing? And so Sansa goes through this whole spiel about everything that whoever she's talking to is
conspiracy, murder,
all this thing, and it's just so classic where she just turns to Peter and is like, and Peter Baelish, you are accused. And it was great.
Oh, and it was so great to see. He's a really good actor, by the way. And to see him go through like the stages where he's like, let me try and manipulate my way, doesn't work. Let me go over to the lords and see if they'll protect me.
And they're like,
doesn't work. They're like, nah, bro, we don't got you. Go to Sansa. Let me talk to you in private.
She's like,
can I just
don't pit me against my sister.
And then he just falls to his knees and so whinily. It's the perfect ending for him because he's always so like cool
and Arya's
calm.
Just like, I'm over this, slit throat, done.
Yeah, and he goes, please,
No
Arya,
pausing.
please, like don't kill me. And then Arya's like,
it was great. I was so happy. It was fantastic.
I saw a lot of people being like, Littlefinger just wasn't ready to go after an all-seeing three-eyed raven and a super invisible assassin.
Okay,
You know,
yeah.
he was expecting just Sansa.
He underestimated her and her family so hard, and it was just played out beautifully.
Which, speaking of the three-eyed raven, we got a good little segue where
is true.
Sam showed up at Winterfell.
There were so many great moments in this episode. I was just like, yes!
Where he walked in, and he goes, Bran, you're alive! And Bran's just, I'm the three-eyed raven. And Sam
He
goes...
just says all these things about how he's the three-eyed raven and has all these, like, whatever. And Sam's like, I don't
Sam's
know what
like,
that is.
Wow, that's really great. What is that?
Yeah, he's just like, I don't know what you're talking about,
And
but
he's
okay.
This is what's happening to Jon right now. And Sam's like, oh, did you see it in a vision?
Well, hold up. We have more things that happen before we get
Well,
to that.
but then Bran just lifts up his little, like, from a raven, the little scroll.
Oh, yeah.
So he's like, do you see it in a vision? He was just like... So we see a little bit more personality
That's
coming
true.
back to Bran, especially with him helping his family
Mm-hmm.
with the whole Littlefinger situation. All right. Now, this is actually the most stressful part of the episode, I think. So, Jaime goes back to... Jaime's actually talking with all the generals, like, so this is when we'll ride up
They're
north.
on the, like,
and,
little
yeah,
map thing that
this
they
is how our
stand
battle
on.
plan is.
Yeah. And Cersei's just like, what are you doing? And he's like, doing the thing that we promised to do. And she's like, no.
And he goes over, he's like, no, we're going to help them. Like, we need to go do this. Like, it's not just about that. It's about survival and honor. Like,
I think that my favorite character development over this entire show has been Sansa and Jaime. They've been my faves.
yeah, I feel like I kind of quit on Jaime the first...
That's why I'm saying
for
it's
the
so
first
good, because
7
at this point,
yeah.
I'm so rooting for him after all that. And so just the development is great.
That's true. They got me to quit on him, and then I didn't realize how much I cared
And you
until...
just
Oh my
have
god.
the, I can't quit you moment.
Yeah, where he's just like, no, we're going north. And Cersei's like, no, we're not. And he's like, I'm going north. And she goes, no one walks away from me. And he goes, what are you going to do? You going to kill me? And she nods to the mountain, and he goes,
the mountain, like,
shing!
pulls his sword out, and it's just like, is Jaime gonna die after you freaked us out a couple episodes ago? Now you're gonna do it?
Oh my gosh. And he says the most intense line of this entire dumb show, where he looks at her and goes, you won't do it.
And I'm like,
Oh
fuck,
no! Oh my god, why would you say that? I think it's so dumb. We put,
Well,
you won't do
especially
it.
Because
They will.
back when she was having a
will.
conversation with Tyrion basically did the same exact thing, except he didn't have the mountain standing over him with a sword out, but he was just like, do it. And I'm just like, you can't have a do it moment twice in one episode and not have someone do it.
I thought it was going to totally be a you won't do it, and the mountain was just going to, boom, head off, move on. And I
Especially
was
because
like,
we hadn't had any major character deaths. Like, I know Peter Baelish is like a main character, but he's not one we care about. So I
no
don't know.
A-list characters
No.
have died thus far. No protagonist A-list characters have died. I think they're saving it all for next season.
But moral of the story, Jaime doesn't die.
He
Which was shocking.
turns around and just walks away and is like, if you kill me, you kill me. And she let him go, and I was like, but I'm glad he's finally leaving.
So I think this interaction with Jaime confirms my theory that she's not pregnant, because I think that if she was, she would have been much more concerned about that and also the father of her child. Like, it seemed out of character for a pregnant woman speaking to the father of her child, who she loves. It's not like she hates him.
I agree.
So I'm still on the not pregnant train.
I'm really glad, because they did include a small moment with him and Jaime earlier that I think was really
Jaime?
integral.
Who and Jaime?
Brienne and Jaime, sorry.
You said him and Jaime.
Him and Jaime, her and Jaime, Brienne and Jaime.
Wrong.
Probably. So, where she goes up and she's like, really, you're going to walk away from this?
Oh, yeah.
And Jaime's like, what am I supposed to do? And she's just like, fuck the queen, fuck honor, like, you need to do this, like...
And he's
And
essentially doing that now.
I think that stuck with him, and you see him riding off, and he's completely gotten rid of all the Lannister robes and colors. He's even hiding his golden hand.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, and because when the snow's falling, he
I'm
like
like,
covers it up.
go fight with Brienne, be a team.
Yeah.
I don't ship them romantically, but I ship them as besties.
Which there is some stuff in the lore where like the legend of who like stops the White Walkers,
Oh yeah, we talked about this.
the Azor Ahai, which is like the name of that prophecy, like the prince will show up and do this. Well, Azor Ahai is like golden hand is what it means. So a lot of people are like, golden hand, is it going to end up being Jaime who actually slays? And he has a Valyrian steel sword.
Or
So-
it could be because Tyrion is supposed to be blonde. They just gave up on that in the design department. And he's the hand of the queen. I don't know.
A lot of people said that too.
Really? I had not heard that. I just thought of it.
Because he's like the hand of the queen, that he could be the... There's a whole lot... There's like a billion theories going around.
Of
but
course.
I think it was interesting to be sure.
Alright, so let's talk about the ship that has sailed across the sea of our hearts. So Jon and Daenerys are finally boning, and I am all about it. I don't care that they're related. It is Game of Thrones. It's fine. They're like not sisters or relate like siblings. It's fine.
Which I will say, that Game of Thrones has made it clear that incest doesn't quite work the same way it does in our universe. Where like...
It's like Southern families. It's okay if it's a little separated.
Where... I'm not going to get into that one. But in that universe, they've been literally marrying brother to sister and having kids for like hundreds of years now. Like, this is not a new thing for their family. It's been hundreds of years. So, it's not that weird, and honestly, aunt to nephew is pretty far apart. I mean, they say genetically that actually, like, first cousins are okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, without having any incest, like, inbred problems, so...
In real life, that's not okay, but in Game of Thrones, it's fine.
My favorite thing is that people were like, Jaime and Cersei together season 1, ew!
They're also horrible human beings in season 1. These two are precious and adorable.
Whereas by the end, like, incest, ew, by the end of season 7, incest, yay!
The first time we were introduced to the Jaime and Cersei incest, he pushes a child out a window. That's very, very different.
And created the three-eyed raven.
That's true.
Which we needed, so we're fine.
Alright, so let's talk about it. So, Jon just shows up to Daenerys' door, and I just loved this interaction. I love the whole, like, wordless yes consent thing. Like, consent is very important, but you can do it without words properly, and I think they did it well. What was the other thing we watched recently?
Wonder Woman.
That one. I love it. I dig it. Just the show. Oh, it's so similar to that.
Yeah, it was almost exactly the same. I'm standing at the door.
And she just, like, opens the door, an invitation, like, yes.
Just opens it a little more. And he just walks in, and she closes the door, and you know, you're like, it's us.
So good. And so, we know this is happening, and you, like, pan to Tyrion down the hall, who has a concerned look on his face, and there's a lot of debate going on around why he's concerned. Because I'm not really for sure where his head is at with this at the moment.
Yeah, and while they did that whole scene, you have Bran and Sam basically talking over, saying, like, no, he's not just a Stark. He's son of Rhaegar and Lyanna.
And not only that, but he's not a bastard.
Yeah, he's not a bastard. They were officially wed.
So he is full-blown Targaryen with rights to the throne. First rights to the throne.
He actually has higher rights to the throne than Daenerys.
Yes.
However, some people are like, oh no, what's going to happen? I don't think that's a problem for him. When he finds that out, I think he doesn't want to leave. He's said that several times. He's going to say, have it.
So I'm really hoping that they will be a couple and that he will be like, you know, the head or whatever, but she'll like get shit done.
Some people have theorized that he's going to end up going back to the Wall at the end of this. I know. Like, he's going to go back up north and take his original, like, thing where he's going to
My theory
guard the
is
wall.
that by next season, depending on the time jump between these two seasons, she gonna be pregnant because they spent so much time talking about this episode about how she might be able to get pregnant even though she believes she can't, and Jon's been pushing it, and Jorah's been pushing it, and all the people have been pushing it, and I'm like, she's gonna get pregnant. So we're either gonna come back next season with her like full-blown 9 months pregnant, whatever, and I think that both of them are going to die by the end of the season, and their kid is going to carry the legacy.
Oh, both? Yes. I think Dany will live as queen with a kid from Jon, and Jon's going to die killing the Night King. That's
Either
what
way,
I
Jon's
think.
going to die.
I don't think Jon has a real way of making this out, considering he's already died once, and the Lord of Light brought him back for a purpose, and once he fulfills it, he's toast. Toasto.
He's just there for his penis, guys. That's all he's there for.
Yep. So, I think... That's what I think. However, they even allude to him, like, some people are like, well, how is he going to react? I think he'll be fine with it, because he even had that whole speech with Theon about being Targaryen and Stark.
Oh, he'll be fine.
Because he had that whole conversation with Theon where he was like,
it doesn't matter if you're not officially part of the family, you're part of the family.
Well, yeah, he goes, you're just as much Stark as you are Greyjoy.
And they did not put that scene in lightly.
No, it was very much just because you're Greyjoy doesn't mean you're not Stark. You can be both, and just know that both are with you always. And I think he's going to just take a very similar approach to say, oh wow, I'm Targaryen, but I can be both, and I know I'm Stark at heart, even though I have Targaryen blood. Which is why I don't think he'll take the throne. Refill. And we're back.
Finale. Well, finale of the finale.
Yeah, finale squared. That's it.
That's your intro. Okay, I can take it from there if you want.
Go for it.
Okay. So, finale. So intense. Alright, so we've got... What? Why?
It's so intense.
It is so intense. So we've got Tormund up on the wall, and we go back to that, and he's just waiting there, waiting. They're watching the wall, they're watching the north, and I'm like, I'm just waiting for the White Walkers to just, like, show up.
You know it's time.
And they start, like, slowly trickling out of the trees, and everybody on the walls freaks the fuck out. And I'm like, but where's the dragon? Like, we know they have the dragon.
We know it's going to show up.
Yeah, and so they're all freaking out, whatever, and then you hear just the dragon, like, call. And I'm just like, oh my god.
And you know when characters are meant to survive, when as soon as something bad starts happening,
They run.
They're not like, I'm going to do something about it. They just go, peace, Lord.
Right.
And he just goes, run!
Yeah, and everybody starts making their way down that little switchback.
I think it was him and
staircase.
Barrack, because
Yeah.
Barrack was still there, and they both just sprint. And sure enough, that dragon comes out and just sprays the wall with ice, hot fire, blue fire.
I don't think it's ice. I think it's
fire ice, something.
We don't know.
He can still be a frost dragon and
He's a frost
breathe
dragon
fire.
that breathes. He just breathes that really hot fire that makes it blue, like, you know, the top of the Bunsen burner.
It's just
when
White
you're learning
Walker
in
fire.
Science.
Yeah.
It's like the very tip.
It's blue fire.
Huh.
However, it would have been cool if he breathes green fire, like wildfire. That would have been crazy.
I don't think that would have made sense, though.
I mean, not at all. It would have been cool, though.
Anyways, it was crazy. The wall is just decimated. It's gone. Goodbye.
Yep, that whole chunk just...
And we see Tormund go on one side, but one side of the wall goes down, one side doesn't. And I'm assuming he's on the side that's okay, but not confirmed.
People showed, like, the way he ran on the angle, and were like, he ran that
Camera
way.
tricks, man.
Yeah. So they're like, he ran that way. He's alive. They would have shown him die. He's a big enough character now where they would have shown him die. They wouldn't just, like...
I just now realized that you also pulled up my glass.
Surprise!
Why did you just do that?
You don't gotta drink it all. You have to drink it all. It's one at a time. So this episode ends on the craziest note of just having all the White Walkers through,
And they're
and
just, like, casually walking.
we kind of knew that it would end at this point where it's like, no, next season, the war is on. The White Walkers are there, and they're not that far from Winterfell.
I was about to ask that. Is Winterfell, like, next?
Yeah, it's
Not
the first
maybe
stop.
not next. It's next on the ones we frequented. I think there's a few others in between.
I think that that's the next stop for the White Walkers and where we're going to
Not
see
good.
them.
I hope Jon gets back to his fam.
I'm glad that Arya at least has her Valyrian steel dagger now. I'm expecting her to kill some White Walker booty. Because anyone who's been, like, conveniently given a Valyrian steel at this point, I expect to kill White Walkers. So overall, this season finale was really dang good.
So good. I think the last, like, 2-3 episodes of the season were phenomenal.
I agree. I feel like this season struggled a little bit at the beginning.
A little.
Especially with pacing. I think that was the biggest thing. Is it just seemed really slow for where we were at in the story.
But also people are moving fast. It was confusing.
But they picked it up, and I think the pace matched what it should be by the end of the season. And so much happened. It was a very satisfying finale, which doesn't...
Absolutely.
Whereas there's some finales that are, like, shocking or, like, heart-wrenching. And I'm glad that they were just like, let's just satisfy you with all these
Well, because
storylines.
it's hard sometimes to walk that line of satisfying without fan servicing. And
Yeah.
I think they did well with that, personally. Everybody has their opinions, but...
Yeah, some people have complained, but I've seen a lot of people argue. It's like, at this point in the story, though, your options are either to do something really unexpected that may not work well at all, or to do the thing that you know should happen. And I'm glad that, as a show, they're choosing to go with what should happen, and not trying to come up with weird stuff to toss in there to mix it up. And it's paying off because it was crazy. It was
So great.
such a crazy episode. And
I'm
loved
here
it.
to be entertained and intrigued and just blown away, and I was all of these things.
Yeah, every single character I was interested in, and a freaking undead dragon destroying the wall at the end.
I was not expecting that this season.
Whew! It
So
was
good.
amazing.
Also, there's a Funko Pop coming out of that, and I need it. I need it.
I want that one too.
So good.
So, BSers, what did you guys think of this season finale?
Let us know down in the comments below. You can also find all of our social media links down in the description. If you like this video and like our reviews, please give us a thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos from us, please subscribe. We would love to have you join our family. And we will see you in our next video.